Hello friends, today we will be working on this section of the garden. So I have two roses here side by side, and I'm a new gardener, so I had put them closer together than they should be. Ideally, they would have space between them so that they will not touch. And the reason is because in Texas especially, we get a lot of RRD, which is known as Rosette disease. So I want to show you what signs you can tell if your rose bush has it. So here in Texas, I want to make sure and get these out as quickly as possible so I don't infect my other roses. So now here, this is my sensuous rose bush that I had put in. It's been here for 2 years, and you can see that it has a witch's broom here at the top of this one portion, but the other sections look great. This one has new growth, but it isn't exhibiting the witch's broom yet. And then it is still blooming and has roses and has beautiful looking growth, but the problem is once it gets sick from this disease, there's no cure. So there are people working on finding a cure for the disease, but at this time there isn't one. And then so the next one over to it is Marc Chagall, and I think this is the rose that had red rosette disease first. And so the reason I thought it may have it is because of the thorns. You can see here there are many thorns, and that's just not normal for this rose. And that's the first sign it exhibited. But as of yet, this one doesn't have the witch's broom. So just because it doesn't have all the different signs of red rosette disease doesn't mean it doesn't have it. So I am going to caution on the side of saying that they do have this disease and remove them from my garden. And again, the reason why is I do not want it to spread to my other roses. So this disease is spread by mites that are very small, and it can quickly go from one rose bush to another because they travel by wind, or if it's already on one rose bush, then it can travel to the next one. So a good lesson for me was that I should not plant the roses together. There's no really rhyme or reason why one rose bush is picked over another. So you won't be able to prevent it. I do know that in my neighborhood that we do have the disease. I do for sure know one of my neighbors has it, and he still hasn't taken out his rose bush. So it could be that it's just spreading on the wind from the mite from the one already in the neighborhood. So what I'm going to be doing is removing these two big roses, and then I'm going to be planting a rose of Sharon. Okay, since it is 98 degrees here today, no, it's 88, somewhere around there, with a 78% humidity, then I will not record the removal process. But what I'm going to do is put a black bag over the rose, each separate one, and then I will dig out each of the roses. But again, it's really hot here today in Texas, and I won't make you guys watch me have a little, perspiration while I'm digging. So I'm gonna dig it out, and then I'll show you the after of what this section will look like. Okay, team, so after a lot of work and some brute strength, I was able to get rose number 1 out. While I'm down here, you can also see that I had planted a Millennium Allium, and this is brand new. It's only been there maybe a month. And then I have a Proven Winter's Dianthus here, and just a local Sweet Alyssum that I just bought from a local nursery right there. And in the back, I do have a salvia, but It doesn't grow well there just because it doesn't get a lot of sun, and I'm not crazy about its growth habitat. And I plan, since I'm gonna put a Rosette Sharon here, that it will not get any more sun. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this also before moving on to removing rose number 2 right here. Okay, so this rose is proving to be way more difficult to remove. As you can see, the roots are really stuck in here. I've been working at this for at least 15 or 20 minutes trying to get it out, but it is still in its little hole, really happy, and it's difficult for me to remove. So while I'm here, I am trying to remove as many roots as possible. I don't want to have to be digging out root suckers later, but this one has just rooted in so well, it may be difficult to get all of them, meaning the root suckers, before I give up for the day or this morning, because it's super hot. Like I said, it's 78% humidity, and although the temperature is lower, it says it feels like 88 out here, and that's 88 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's super hot. But I wanted to get this done because it's supposed to start raining this week, and it'll be the first good rain we get, meaning multiple days, in a long time. So I want to get that Rosette Sharon in before it starts raining. So I'm going to work on digging this out some more, guys. Okay, everyone, we are back, and it is the same day, except for now it's in the afternoon, so that at least the sun isn't shining straight down on me. So I will be digging the hole, and then I want it about to be here 3 feet out from the wall, because it says that it is, so this is the sugar tip Rosette Sharon, and you can see here when you look at the tag that it is 5 to 6 feet tall and wide. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and place it further out. So also this edge is by the edge of my pool, so there is no more, and of course I have the fence behind there. There's no way to extend this bed or make it any bigger, so I have to work with the space that I have. So now I'm gonna go ahead and dig the hole, and I'm gonna try to make it the size of this can, and I'm just gonna put the soil into there so that it's easy to take back out. So now I'm gonna start, and it should be pretty easy to dig just because I already have the roses there. Although I say this and I'm starting to do it, and it's a little harder. So I did want to say that we do not have the best soil in Texas, that we have a lot of clay, but I have sand mixed in mine here because when the pool was being built, then they had to refill in some of the dirt after they were done. So you'll see I have clay, sand, and some dirt mixed in. So I have all 3. So it may take me a little longer to dig the hole than I was anticipating, but that's okay. So I have a lot of clay here, different kind of sand, and dirt. And also, I did want to point out that this section here is sloped. So I'm going to try, I'm not going to make it go all the way down. I'm going to have it sitting up higher a little bit. So it is a little awkward when you're digging, when you have such a narrow space and a fence behind you. And it is still very, very humid. It's going to start raining tomorrow morning, so tonight it's still super, super, super humid. So this is causing me, of course, to be very hot. I will have to admit, the digging and this part is not my favorite part of planting, but you know, it gives you some exercise and really makes you appreciate the work you put into it. So I think that my hole is big enough. So I'm just gonna grab the can over here and make sure it's good. And again, if it's a little higher than soil level, it's okay. Yeah, this looks good. I didn't do exactly the double the size of the can, just because I did already have different plants there, and so I think it'll be okay because it's already, you know, I've messed with the dirt already, so it's not so packed in. So first I'll add in some of this black cow here manure compost stuff, which I have to be honest, I am not the expert on this. So I just grabbed that from Home Depot, and I know that's supposed to be really good for, you know, the soil and amending it and so forth, which we really do need here, again, because you could already see all that clay mixed in with the sand and the other soil I had put in before. So now that I'm happy with the size of the hole, I'm going to go ahead and remove the plant and put in some of this compost. And then after that, I will also add 2 other amendments that I will show you in just a minute after I get some of this worked into my hole here. Okay, so I went ahead and added some, and then I'm just gonna work it in a little, just so it's nice and mixed in with what's already there. And I'm just trying to make it so it'll help break up the clay, and again, really help the plant grow and be happy here. So, I may have put a little bit more in, but that's okay. I'll just go ahead and put it to the side because, as you see, I have other plants around here, so I don't mind taking a little back out. All right. So now that I have that nice and mixed in, I will go ahead. So my phone had overheated and I didn't realize it, but we're at the point now where we're gonna get ready to plant this Rosette Sharon, which I'm very excited about. So I cut the hole, I put in some cow manure or the compost, I put some biotone starter in there, and then I put some of this Osmocote, just in case we get really hot here again, which you never know with Texas. It's definitely unpredictable of whether it's just going to cool off from down here or keep on getting hotter. So I am going to just put that in there on the safe side. So now I just need to work the plant out of its canister, and I had watered it this morning. So it would be ready to go this afternoon and already dehydrated. And then of course, we're gonna get a lot of rain tomorrow, or we're supposed to. Sometimes the rain misses us. So, but they were pretty sure we were gonna get rain this time. All right, so it was pretty easy to come out of the canister, thankfully. And now, I'm just gonna step away from it and make sure it's facing how I want it. So I think it is, and like I said, I was not gonna make it go under the soil level, just because this is at a slant. So now I'm going to work in at some of the original soil around the plant, and then we'll have, you know, the amendments I had plus some of the original soil here. So I'm just gonna work it around the plant. And I have been doing this with other plants, and it has been working so far. So I'm just going with the same method. In this case, I just, if I get a very heavy piece of clay, I may take those out and leave some of the smaller pieces like this. Just because I want to have, again, both the amended soil and the original soil that was over here, so the plant can get acclimated to what was already here. All right. So I'm just patting down the original soil, and I have found with the Rosette Sharons that you don't want to add too much soil to where the roots were in the canister. So here you see them here, but I don't want to pile too much extra soil on it, or it seems to get unhappy. So I'm trying to get some of the less clay in here so that the roots can still get some air to it at the top, since these don't seem to like to be heavily underneath in the soil. So spread it around here, make sure the roots are down. And then sometimes I do go ahead and remove all these hard clay pieces. I mean, it's just not that healthy for the plants. It takes a long time to get it in good enough shape where the plants are happy. So sometimes I just get rid of some of this clay because, again, it's just not healthy soil. So I'm just going to smooth this out and then make it look nice. And then we will add some emitters for the drip irrigation. So I will be back in 1 second as I have to get that, and then we'll start the next section. Now we will be adding drip tubing to this Rosette Sharon, just so that I can make sure it gets enough water all around the root balls. So I already have drip irrigation installed, so I just have to put an emitter in. And for right now, I'm going to use this 1 gallon per hour emitter. No, actually it's a two. So I'm going to use this one just because I can, well, I don't typically run my irrigation for an hour at a time. So usually maybe 30 minutes. So that's why I'm going ahead and doing a 2 gallon per hour, even though it's, you know, a younger shrub. And then I also have the 1/4 inch drip tubing here, and I already put in the end connector. And then I also have this handy tool here, which honestly, I'm not sure what it's called, but it has a little section here where you put it around the drip tube, and then you hold it together like this, and then it will make the hole for you. And then I have some landscape staples so that I can hold my 1/4 inch tubing down. So this is just to make sure that the root ball gets all the way saturated with water when I run my drip irrigation. So now that I'm here, I know that it will probably be more difficult for you to see. So I'll go ahead and try to zoom in here. and then bring you guys a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. So here it is. I'm sorry for the movement, guys. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come over here, and since I don't want anyone to really see the emitter, then I'll go ahead and find the drip tube in the back. And then what I'll do is I'll take this tool here, and again, it will make the hole for me. So I'll come here and I'll take my drip tube and just clamp it together, and it made my hole. And now I'll put, well, first I'll go ahead and take my 1/4-inch tubing, connect it to the emitter. I just find it's easier to do it before I put the emitter in the big drip line. So now I'll go ahead and insert this into my 1/2-inch tubing. So now I've inserted it, and I will just make a circle all around the roots and then put in my landscape staples. And now it is complete. So the final step is to go ahead and bring the mulch back over so it can help retain the water more easily. It is very, very hot in Texas, so you want to go ahead and make sure you have a mulch and a nice layer of covering for your plant, again, so it doesn't dry out and it stays nice and happy. So, oh, here's another piece of clay. I'll go ahead and put that up. So again, just pushing the mulch over and making it look nicer and more clean. Here we go. And you want to make sure and try to make it so the mulch doesn't touch the bark here. I will, after this, go ahead and get the bag of mulch and add some more, since I do not have enough. So let me do that, and then I'll be right back to show you the end result. Okay, so I've added more mulch, and now this project is complete for today. Once my Rosette Sharon grows in here, I think it'll look great. Again, I have the dianthus in front of it, then a sweet alyssum, and another dianthus to the left over there. And over on the right, I have an azalea. I can't remember which one in this pot here. I wanted to try it out in the pot before planting it because we have very full sun here, and I get full sun, I mean, more than 6 hours from sun up pretty much to sundown. And then so I was expecting it to burn up, honestly, so that's why it was a trial here. And then also I had gotten this Firelight Tidbit Standard earlier in the year, and as you can see, it's looking a little rough. It did get burned leaves, and so did the flowers. It was just a brutal summer here in Texas. We had many 100-degree days of weather, over 100 degrees, and it did not water for a long time. So I'm really hoping that once, oh, one second. All right, so I'm really hoping that once, you know, if we get cooler weather and next summer it'll be more normal, that it'll be a lot happier and won't get burned as much. And also, I moved where it was. It was in a different part of my yard that got much more of the harsh sun. So I moved it over here so it'll be protected by the shed earlier, and so that hopefully it'll be happier here. So, well, I hope that you've learned something about RRD, and that you see some of my vision for what's going to happen here with my planting. I'll have this nice hydrangea standard, and then I'll have this Rosette Sharon here, which will of course fill in. And then I'm thinking about possibly adding a double play spirea to the left of this Rosette Sharon. But real quick before I sign off, I wanted to show you these beautiful variegated leaves on this Rosette Sharon. I cannot wait to see it bloom. It's gonna have very, very pretty pink blooms against these leaves. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.